Hey, welcome back to the Local 636 podcast, the new and improved Local 636 podcast, and we are recording live in the Let's Groove Entertainment studios. A while ago I put out a thing on Facebook looking for help, looking for sponsors, looking for producers. Angel Diaz stepped up, and we've got a great deal worked out where we're going to record here, and you can record here as well. So Let's Groove Entertainment Studios is open. If you have a podcast, if you're thinking of doing a podcast, Angel's an awesome resource in the team here. You can definitely create something that stands out as opposed to me recording from my couch, which is how I started. Nothing wrong with that, but got to start somewhere. But now we're ready for the prime time. We've got a cool setup. We've got a cool guest, and we've got some cool producers bringing you this stuff. And we've got cameras, and this is just great. We'll take some pictures and post them later. But thank you to Let's Groove Entertainment. And what's going on with the Local 636? Wow, what's not going on? Not quite sure when this is going to come out. We're going to tell you about an event that Lydia has coming up. As far as Local 636, we've officially signed on to do the tailgating at Lindenwood. So all the Lindenwood home games, Local 636 will be there. You know it'll be fun. You know it'll be a party with us. We'll have all of our merchandise for sale, obviously, some giveaways. We've even got some unique Lindenwood merch coming out for the games. Lindenwood just went D1, which is a huge thing for St. Charles. They went Division I this year, so the games should start to be a little bit more important, probably a little more better competition, better teams, and they're trying to make a big deal out of it. So if you haven't been to a Lindenwood game, have you been to a Lindenwood game, Lydia?
No, I have not.
It's super fun. We're going to drag you to one this year, but we'll be at all the Lindenwood games. We've got a bunch of cool stuff we're going to pop up a couple times, or pop up a couple times during the holiday shopping season on 2nd Street. And yeah, just like us, follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're at Local 636 or Local.636.
Local.636. Yeah. I just tagged you in something.
Lydia doesn't do our media. Jeannie Smith does, but we tried to do an Instagram
I tag you guys in enough stuff that, I know it by heart.
Yeah. So follow us, join the Facebook group. That's where you're going to get to know everything that's going on and everything that we're doing. So today with us is Lydia Crespo, and Lydia is the owner of a brand called Argaman&Defiance, and then the owner of Cozy Shop on Main Street. So say hi.
Hi.
I don't really know what. Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on something.
This is so awesome. I am thrilled to be here. This is great.
It's funny. We were talking about outside, and I was like, I'm not really sure what to expect as far as like setup, and we came down here, and I was just like, whoa, I mean, I feel like a little kid on Christmas morning.
Yeah, I'm completely blown away. Yeah. This is incredible. And I'm really excited just to break this in with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. I prepared a whole page of notes, as you can see. No, we're just going to have why don't you show everyone what you brought? Not that. No, not that.
No.
No.
Gosh,
the other
come
thing.
on.
The other thing that you brought. Lydia's is
I'm very crafty.
Yeah, Lydia's a maker, and so this is our newest co-branded product here, available at Cozy Shop. So, I think Lydia, you just listened to Anthony Russo podcast, and you thought we're gonna get deep on
I
this
hope
thing,
he doesn't
right?
mean that. Like, I'm not like making fun of him at all. It's just I'm a crier. I came prepared. I'm a Girl Scout. So I'm always prepared, and I'm a crier. So I just decided to do some more Local 636 branded merch for you guys. I'm always thinking about you.
I appreciate it. And that's been, we'll kind of unpack that. But for people that don't know you and that don't know who you are and don't know what you are, you're a boutique shop on Main Street, but you're also a designer.
Yep.
The shirt you're wearing is a co-branded design, but that shirt is your design. We just stamped our logo on it, which is, kind of what we do. But you have been extremely helpful, influential in just helping to get our brand out there. You've been such a supporter from day one.
Yeah.
And so for people that haven't been to Cozy, definitely go check it out. A bunch of St. Charles stuff. I mean, you can kind of tell people what it is.
Yeah,
I guess.
At Cozy Shop, what we do is everything in the shop is either handmade or designed in the Midwest. We're trying to keep it as local as possible. We really want to support that local artisan, that local maker, that local small business that's representing the Midwest, and make sure that they are that they're being represented, but also that they're getting what they need to make their small business grow and work.
Yeah.
That is our passion there.
So is that because you are a maker yourself, right? And
Correct.
So you saw probably a need for this
yeah.
to have your stuff in places and
Absolutely. And I like, and I saw it from both sides, right? You know, that I wanted to shop and I know what needs to go in to have these products move. You know, they're sometimes at a little bit of a higher price point. There's sometimes like a little bit of a learning curve on how the products are made. And that's not always getting translated or talked about in the buying process. So for me, that was really important that the customers get to know that. So, and having a large wholesale business as I do with Argaman&Defiance, we're in over 300 shops throughout the U.S.
Wow.
I had a really great working knowledge of what that wholesale process is going to look like and how those makers like to be treated. So I hope I'm doing a good job, but I think so far we've been pretty successful.
I mean, I think everyone that I've talked to that goes in your shop is like, I'm not going to do a voice or anything, but it's like, it's so cute and it's this, and it's a great shop. I mean, you can be 16 to 80 and find something in there that you like,
Oh,
right?
100%.
It's not just for,
Yeah. And it's for men and women. It is, from 16 to 8. I mean, even like we have a whole sticker wall. So like the kids go crazy for that. We have a bath bomb called Monkey Farts that the 8-year-old crowd is just eating up right now.
Does it smell like monkey farts?
It smells like berries and bananas. It's fabulous.
Oh, okay, well that makes sense.
It's really
That's kind
nice.
of their diet. Like,
Yeah,
in a sense.
You know, but that's like, I mean, really there is something for everyone at our shop. So,
That's awesome.
And it's all, you can always rest, assured that it's either handmade or designed in the Midwest. So you're not only just helping out our small business, you're also helping out another small business when you shop with us.
You've given that pitch before, huh?
No, not at all.
Lydia's, every time I turn on channel 2, it's like you're on there promoting. We've got this. And actually it leads us to a thing that you're hosting, right? If you want to go ahead and talk about that. And then I want to kind of get into your story, but talk about the seminar, or is that the wrong word for it?
No, seminar, panel discussion, workshop,
however
you want to describe it, that's what we're doing. So, so it's a panel discussion. It's called Making Headlines for Your Business. And what I wanted to do is, I'm very good at pitching my story. I'm really good at getting that media attention through magazines and local news and other media outlets like podcasts. Yeah. I'm really good at getting that attention. So I wanted to share that knowledge and get it straight from the source. So I'll be leading a panel discussion with the folks from Show Me St. Louis, the editor-in-chief from Design STL, someone from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and a former producer and our friend, Jeannie Smith.
Oh, Jeannie's in the...
Jeannie,
okay.
Yeah, Jeannie is on the panel, and
she
was a producer at KSDK for a very long time. Yeah. And so she's going to be there. So I'm going to lead this panel discussion, and we're going to talk about like how to write a press release, what should go in your press kit, what is a press kit? And you can be coming to this at any level. Like if you are a seasoned, professional that's used to doing these kind of media events, that's great. And you just need a little refresher because these things have changed quite a bit. Or if you're completely new, you're a brand new business and you're like, how do I get my business out there and in front of people's eyeballs? This is a great, workshop for you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And I know you know what the Vision program is, but for listeners out there, Vision program is the easiest way to say it's a leadership kind of program for St. Charles County. You go through this series of it's like a 9-month program. You go through this series of days, classes, and Jeannie has organized like a similar panel for our Vision Days. Mm-hmm. So I've been through probably like a smaller version, and I mean, invaluable.
Oh my gosh, right?
So much knowledge and so much like you're hearing from someone on the news, like, hey, this is how you get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Like not my email address, like this is what you say to catch our attention.
Exactly.
This is how it needs to be. This is what time you need to send it. This is the day you need to send it because this is a slow news day. This is the time, like everything. You're just like, wow. Like, because how many times have you sent something hoping to get something in return, and who knows if it was
Crickets.
Yeah. And who knows if it was just, if it could have been worded better, if it could have been sent at a different time,
right? If
it could have been sent to the correct person instead of the incorrect person. So really incredible stuff. And that is Wednesday, September 7th at the Foundry.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Tickets are, you can go to my website, cozyshopstl.com. Under our events tab, there's a direct link to get tickets. Tickets are $25. And I'm partnering with the city of St. Charles on this. This is something that I came to them with, and I said, hey, I think that the city of St. Charles, we are a mecca for small businesses there. I mean, just on Main Street alone, it is a prime location for it. And I said, I really think that the city could benefit from doing stuff like this. So they heard me out. We're trying this out with the Making Headlines for Your Business panel, and they they're making it happen. They're working with me to
They
do
are
it.
so good.
It's amazing.
Aren't they?
Yes.
Like, it's crazy.
They want us to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really exciting is
Yeah.
that there's these people in place to make sure that this happens,
Yeah.
that to take people like me who have an idea and just be able to run with it and
Yeah.
give them the support that they need to do it.
And I think that's why you see so many small businesses start and succeed. And I think it has to do with the general population of St. Charles too. And everyone I talk to, and I almost stopped asking the question because everyone I talk to and say, what do you love about St. Charles? It's the same answer. Yeah. It's that my friends want to see me succeed. My neighbors want to see me succeed. You know, and in this case, and other cities within St. Charles County too,
Yeah.
but specifically St. Charles City is just like, you want to do what? Oh, yeah, cool. That makes sense. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
How
like,
can I help?
yeah. Yeah.
Where else are you going to get that? That's amazing,
Yeah.
right?
It is cool. It is very cool. Let's back up a little bit. I want to get into a little bit of your story. You are, if I'm correct, is that okay? Do we need to get?
I know. I'm going to warm up right now.
You are.
I'm not making fun of him. I swear.
I don't think you're making fun of him. I think we were talking off mic or camera or whatever about. I was just like, that was a moment for me. Like that was like a, you know, sometimes you do things and you're like questioning, is this the right thing to do? Am I making a difference? Am I doing what I set out to do, what I wanted to do? And it's moments like that where you're like, okay, that was real. That was a real thing that just happened because of this, you know, and it was awesome. And I'm the kind of guy that if I see you cry, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. Same.
And so it didn't bode well for me either, but no, that was cool. And I think it's a compliment. I think it's a nod. Maybe
and
we can.
When I tell this
co-brand
story too, because it is emotional for me. Sometimes I do, and I did at one time burst into tears in the middle of like an artist meeting at the Foundry.
Really?
Yeah, and it was in front of the new executive director. The new executive director, Hilda Andres, and I just burst into tears. Anyways, yeah.
How did you have to excuse yourself? Did you?
I tried to hold it together, but I didn't. Well, and luckily everybody else in the room started sobbing too.
Okay, there you go.
The Foundry is just a very special place.
Special place within a special place.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, if that happens here, we'll just get through.
We'll just roll with it.
We'll let it
Yeah.
breathe, and maybe I'll join in. So we'll see.
Okay.
We need to get Russo on that sponsorship though.
Yeah.
Some Kleenexes. Maybe you can write a song about it.
Yeah, that would be great.
So you are from St. Charles, like born and raised?
Not born, but
Okay.
raised. Yeah.
Raised in St. Charles.
Yeah.
So you're from St. Charles. Do you feel like a local? Do you feel like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's sometimes I've been here for like 15 or 16 years, and sometimes it's like, well, you're not really from there. It's like, well,
No.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
That is a thing. That is a St. Charles thing, though.
It
Like a St. Charles County thing, you
Well, I
know?
guess, and when there was like your neighbors, like 5 generations of St. Charles, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
my great grandparents lived in this
Yes,
house. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're from St. Charles. How long did you want to be like a designer? Or did you figure that out from a young age? Was it in college?
Yeah. I always knew I was good at art. It was
Okay.
the only thing I was good at in high school. I was a terrible student. I mean, really, and just going nowhere with my life fast. And I guess like around, it was 2002, 2003, I started working on Main Street at the Tintype Photo Parlor.
Oh, cool.
And again, I was just always drawn to these kind of creative outlets. And so the Tintype Photo Parlor was a really great place to do that because I could take photos all day. And around that same time, the Foundry Art Centre was being built. And or
What age are you
rehabbed,
in
I
this?
should say.
How old are you? We're talking.
16,
Okay.
17-ish. Yeah, somewhere around there.
When you say you were going nowhere, you were just like a bad student, or were you like into bad stuff?
Oh no, I was just
Okay.
a bad. You
just weren't great academically.
Yeah, and I didn't, and there was no examples of like artists in my life,
Sure.
and so for me, it just, I was good at art. Okay, what the heck do you do with that?
Right.
It's tough, and I knew I was skilled at this, but it just wasn't. I knew I wasn't gonna. I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Basically, I had this superpower that I just didn't know what to do with.
It reminds me of that scene on The Office where Jim's brothers prank Pam and they tell her how she's never going to make money as an artist, but it really hits her. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And because the examples you see are in museums and they're all dead.
Right. Yeah, correct.
So how do you
and there's
get
no
to
like
that
lower
point?
tier, right? Like
No.
it's like museum and then like, person selling it on the street. Like there's kind of nothing in the middle there.
Exactly. And I didn't want to be destitute, and I thought that was my only option, was to either like to starve and then hopefully after I'm dead end up in a museum, or just not.
Hashtag life goals. Wow.
Living the dream, or not living the dream at all, actually dying in the dream. But yeah, or just not pursuing this at all. So that's the, 16-year-old me is, you have no long-term thinking when you're that age.
Sure.
So even trying to wrap your head around that is really tough, and you just don't feel like there's any options. But here comes the Foundry Art Center, which is unlike any place in the Midwest. I mean, it is a space that was built for artists. So there's right now there's 14 full-time working artists there. They're all mid-career. They're making a living, and they're doing their artwork. And there's space for them there at the Foundry.
Yeah.
So I would park at the Foundry and then walk around and just look into the studios and watch them working and ask them questions. And
Wow.
for me, having that example of, this is the midpoint. This is
Right.
people making a living. This
Museum on the street, Foundry Art Center.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No,
there is a way to do this, to have a living, to be able to feed yourself, to perhaps even have a family, that like it's not just destitute, it is, or starving artists, that there actually is a medium.
Yeah.
And that also that they're thriving. There's a place for them in St. Charles,
Yeah.
which is great.
Were they, I mean, I think the answer is yes, obviously, because of where you are, but they were receptive to you coming around, asking questions. They were,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they loved it,
Okay.
and that's what it's there for too. Is that this space is open to the public. The public is welcome to come in.
Yeah.
Ask us questions. Watch us working. There's huge windows that are just for that purpose, so that people can just come in and watch what we're doing and see what we're working on. Art sometimes is a little mysterious. I think a lot of people just don't feel like they always understand it, or they're not looking at it right. But if you can have those conversations with the artist or watch them work, it kind of takes some of the mystery out of it and allows you to participate, which is what the Foundry's purpose is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was just a glowing, I've never heard it described like that. And it makes me want to go there right now. I mean, we should talk about some like PR for the Foundry or something.
It's a wonderful, wonderful place.
It is. And I've been there obviously. And I'm into, I don't know that I'm into like art, but I'm into like creativity and like creative process and stuff. And I've never even would consider doing that. Right. I mean,
And then it pairs well because there's the artist upstairs, right? And then there's a huge gallery space down. There's actually 2 gallery spaces downstairs. So you can see the work as it's happening and then also as it's finished.
Okay.
And it's a rotating exhibition that's happening at the Foundry. And it's just, like I said, it's just a great place. So,
okay, so you're 16, you're at the Foundry. 16 to 18, presumably.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
At some point, you decide, I need to go to college, or I want to go to college for what specifically? I know you went to a design school or an art school.
Well, first I went to Flow Valley,
sure.
which actually
Shout out NOCO.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man, yeah, North County.
We called that 13th grade. So I went to Hazelwood West, and like the people that went to Flow Valley.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was great.
I think that's common, like a common community college thing.
100%. Yeah. And like I said, I didn't have the grades to actually get into a good school, and I wasn't prepared to. There was also a lot of other stuff going on in my life at that time that just was preventing me to leave home. So it just, for me, going to Flow Valley was great. And it actually is a wonderful art program. So it sets you up so that you can have that portfolio, so that you can get into those design schools or art schools. And I ended up getting a fairly, almost a full ride. It wasn't quite, but to the School of the Art Institute of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Based on what you did at Flow Valley.
Based on what I did at Flow Valley.
Very cool. And I guess like, us, I don't know how many percentage, but the people that go to like a regular school, I'm using air quotes if you're just listening, like, the people that go to a traditional 4-year university, we have to test in, we have to send a resume. Are you just sending examples of artwork?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's actually what's called portfolio days.
Okay.
So actually representatives from the school will come and they'll look at your work and you get to take them through everything. You have your whole CV there so that they can see what you're doing in addition to making this artwork, what shows you're exhibiting in, what other projects or murals or community things that you're working on, and you have this whole conversation with them and take them through it. It's a process that like I'm really happy that I had Flow Valley there and the professionals and teachers there to help me through all of this, because my parents had no idea. They had no entrance into the art. And that's actually something that we've talked about at the Foundry too, is to like, okay, so your kid is really into the arts. You know, you as a parent, I know, just want to make them, you know, help them succeed and do everything. So like,
or you just think they're a weirdo.
Yeah, or you think they're a weirdo and you're just like, no way, I'm not going to let you do it, which is also, that is real. That is a real thing. Yeah. I had to do a lot of convincing with my parents.
It's not a phase.
Yeah. Gosh, you don't understand. Which there was a lot of that too.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, that's something that we've talked about doing at the Foundry as well. So like, and I think that could work in this kind of, you know, my whole broader idea of professional practice courses as well, just to bring it back to that a little bit.
Yeah. No, I want to touch on that because that is, that's an interesting piece. And I think has a lot to do with why you're successful, because you know how to navigate that space. But take me, okay, so you're in Chicago. Do you have like you have a major or an area or something?
Yeah, so at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, they don't have majors, you have focuses.
Sure. Okay.
So I focused on fiber and material studies.
Fiber and material studies. That
and
sounds
then
really specific.
Yes, yeah. And then I did minor in art history, and I almost minored in chemistry as well. So.
You can do chemistry there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
it was available, and my background is in fiber and material studies, so I was doing a lot of dye, and so I needed that chemistry background to make sure I didn't accidentally blow up myself or kill myself or, you know, just poison myself.
It
all
seems
of
like
that
it should be mandatory if it's that big of a concern.
It is. I mean, there's a class at SAIC called Art Kills, and it's just about like all of the horrible, like toxic, awful, like, you know, stuff that's like in cadmium, you know, paint and, you know, all of that stuff. So that, I mean, it's
interesting.
I joke, but like, I mean, I
thing.
really did it for my own safety. Yeah. And, and I mean, chemistry in art school all of a sudden made sense. I mean, like my brain was unlocked. Where I was talking about before in high school, I was a terrible student. I never could get past like any science class or anything. All of a sudden I have these real life objects
when you
and
put
things,
it in,
things that I'm putting into real context. All of a sudden my brain is unlocked and I feel like I can take on the world. So
it took me literally 3 years to pass Math 101. I dropped it. I never failed the class. I would drop it because whatever. They came out my junior year of college with a Math 101E, which was explorations. And that's exactly what it was. It was putting it into like real life scenarios. And it was like, okay, well, I can do this math. I can do street math. You know, I could figure that out. But so that's interesting that was the same thing with science. When it's something that and I guess that is with anything, when it's something that you care about, if it's put in those terms, it makes it's easier to relate to, but you want to relate to it.
Absolutely.
You want to understand it. And you're like, oh, well, that's why this and this. Okay.
Yeah. So, and you're not like, you don't feel so overwhelmed by failure then too. Cause you're like, I really want to make this work, or I'm excited, or whatever it is, you just want to make your brain wrap around it. Yeah. And that's how
you realize the importance of it to what you want to do as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So 2 years there? 2 years in school?
2 years there. Yeah, two and a half. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to minor in chemistry, but I ran out of money. So I graduated.
You always go back and get that chemistry minor.
Yeah, I could, I guess. I graduated, and I actually 15 undergrads from the School of the Art Institute are chosen every graduating class to receive a grant. It's the ones who excel, who are doing things that they think, that the administration thinks deserve an award, you know? And because they want to put money towards like whatever they're going to be doing next. And I was one of those 15.
Wow.
And I used that to start Argaman&Defiance.
Okay.
And so I got a website. I like continued my education by studying with a dye master that happened to be in Chicago and was teaching like 5 miles away from me. So I was biking to her studio every morning, and it was great.
Wow.
And then I was just learning. I was Googling how to register a business, how to, you know, just doing all of that stuff and not sleeping and working several jobs just to make it work. And we were we were living in a horrible, tiny little apartment.
Which you had a story about, which I cut you off because I wanted to save it for the podcast. But tell me about your studio in the apartment.
Yeah.
And, what that kind of did for you. And
yeah. So having a studio is very important to an artist, and especially when you're in a city like Chicago, you're not always offered that luxury. And so for me, I always had a studio, like a little bitty corner. And again, it was kind of a blessing and a curse because it was always within my line of sight because we had this teeny little apartment, and so it was always on my mind. An unfinished project was always sitting on the table, or and I knew that I had to work it. Or
is that good or bad? Or is it both?
I'm sure it fed into some really fun anxieties.
Yeah, right. I mean, did it like keep you up at night?
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay. Yeah, when it's the last thing you see when you go to sleep, and it's the first thing you see when you wake up, it's kind of like, hey, you just spent a ridiculous amount of money and convinced your parents to let you come to this city and do this, and it's just sitting here unfinished for 3 days. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of expectations that you put on yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, and then also and then you put the grant on top of that, or the fellowship on top of that. The school even believes in you. Then. You got to make it work.
I find the opposite sometimes, and the only thing I can really relate to that is like the gym, is like going to work out. Mm-hmm. Because I've tried to have a home gym or some stuff around, and I find that if it's in my home, I'm distracted by other stuff.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yes.
So like to go to the gym now, I have to leave.
Yeah.
I know once I leave, I'm not coming back. I'm going to go do the thing, and then I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
But if I'm at home, it's like, oh, well, this needs to be done.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a 45-second rest. I can knock out an email, or I can do this.
Exactly. Or I'll do it in an hour after the dishes are done, or or whatever. I can.
I like that separation. Like it's kind of like the working from home thing too.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I mean, and I had to have that eventually, and I talked with my now husband Val about it, and I clearly, I took him out to dinner, and I was pleading my case. And I was like, look, and he has always been my number one supporter and amazing and just fantastic. And I, told him that I needed a space, and we were talking through the options and everything. And I said, what if we move all of our bedroom furniture into the living room and then make our only bedroom into my studio?
Wow.
And he was like, okay. And I was like, great. And then we didn't talk about when it would happen or anything like that.
He came home one day.
No, he did it.
Oh, he did it.
I came home.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
That's what I mean. Like, he's the best.
Yeah.
And he had moved everything while I was working at Home Depot in the paint department at the time.
Awesome.
And a number of other jobs too. I think I was working at an art gallery. But I specifically remember I came home from the Home Depot job because I wouldn't get off until like midnight. It was one that was open, I think, 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I got off and I just started crying. He's just the best. And when I say he's my number one supporter, he really, really is.
You have to have that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, a lot of people that are self-employed, you don't see the behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
And whatever that is, but a supportive spouse is, I'm not going to say it's like absolutely necessary, but you can't have a non-supportive spouse. I don't think.
Yeah.
But
it won't work if you don't. Yeah.
But being self-employed, I mean, a supportive spouse is, I have tons of stories of Leah doing something like that.
Yeah.
And coming into my office to make phone calls for me. And
working the booth at whatever festival, right? Exactly. Yeah. And just getting the word out. I mean, she even every time I post about Local 636 in the shop, she's the first one that likes it. She's there. Like, you need that support in your life, Yeah. And I mean, how many, I don't know if she does this for you, but like how many ledges has like they talked you off of as well, where you're like, this isn't working. I'm exhausted. Right. Yeah.
Countless.
So,
yeah.
You have to have that support.
So get me back to St. Charles from Chicago.
Okay.
When?
So.
Why?
Well, so just one more thing about the studio too. So like the bedroom studio worked for a while, and then the neighbors upstairs in our apartment upstairs moved out, and I had always thought like, boy, if I could just have the whole apartment as my studio, that would be fantastic, and that really would have mean I made it, and I did it.
Wow.
I don't know if I made it exactly, but like
you always set those things, and then once you get there, you're like, oh, well, that was it. That was okay. Well, I haven't made it. I just did that thing.
Exactly.
Which is cool. It's a stepping stone, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And you think it's going to be so easy, and when you've met that threshold, like you've made it.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, like was a whole nother set of issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we were living on the third floor of the apartment building. My studio was on the second floor. And it was fantastic. And really being able to shut and lock that door, to your point about like the separation was huge for me. Yeah. So, and I mean, really, that's when the business did start taking off in new and really interesting directions. That's when I started working with Urban Outfitters, West Elm.
Yeah, your resume is incredible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I think I've heard you mention that stuff before, but actually seeing it in writing.
Yeah. I mean, like Graceland, like the Elvis Presley, they've commissioned me to do work for them. It's just the people that I've been able to work with is remarkable, but I had to have that space to do it. And I knew that all along. I had to have that space.
Yeah, we make certain sacrifices financially and
exactly.
Sometimes otherwise. And but it pays off if you obviously did it right.
Yeah, exactly. And I was working, again, several jobs to make it work, you know, and I would always have to make time for the studio and really make that a priority.
Yeah. And then you moved back here.
Yeah. And then I moved back here. So I got to a point where, I mean, that I was able to kind of keep quitting the jobs, right? And then finally that was my sole income. And I was doing that for a while, and then it kind of occurred to me one day that I was like, oh, I could do this anywhere. Yeah. And my husband is born and raised in Chicago, never, ever thought he would leave. And again, I floated the idea to him, and he was like, and he was kind of at a point in his career where he just kind of was hitting a wall, and he was like, okay. And we just started looking at options, and St. Charles just made the most sense because it's where my family's from. We knew if we got into any big trouble, we would, always be able to have a softer landing than if we were.
The cost of living is a third of the cost.
A third is a quarter. Yeah.
Probably,
I mean, no kidding. Yeah. I mean, like, and it's not like, again, we weren't destitute, but like, it was just, it's hard running a business.
Well, and you have to it's okay to take risks, but some of them have to be calculated, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, we have a landing zone here. We have a safety net or whatever, however you want to look at it, that if something doesn't go according to our plan, we have this option and we can regroup. You opened your store in 2020.
Yeah.
Before March or after March?
Before March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about that. I mean, there's a lot we can talk about, but like, I mean, that had to blindside you, obviously.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely terrifying. And again, I remember like specifically crying to Val and just saying like, I don't know, I'm going to lose everything. I'm just going to lose everything.
At the same time, did you think like, good thing we moved back here?
Oh yeah.
Because
because we were just in a way better situation, all around, you know, and way more prepared to handle something like that. Yeah. So like we were, yes. Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up because there was, and I try to do this a lot. I just try to change my perspective of like, I was scared. I thought I was going to lose everything. And so I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy it. However long it lasts, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. And if I have to like,
how long did it take you to get there? Like
a couple of weeks.
That's quick.
Yeah. A couple of weeks. Yeah. And I just, and I think that really helped my mindset of just appreciate every sale that was coming in.
Sure, and that makes it,
right? And
when there's no expectations or low expectations, it makes it, because one thing I was going to get at, a question I've been thinking about with you, and we've kind of touched on your, I guess, the business owner side of you, right? So like, I'm an insurance agent that, by trade, that kind of goes, like, you would think, at least, that kind of goes hand in hand with being able to, like, know how to register a business, right? Like, those same qualities would transfer.
Yeah.
An artist seems to me that it would be completely opposite.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
attention to detail and filling out forms, and not that it's a lack of attention to detail, but just...
No, but I mean, you're right. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to do. That's for sure.
So did you have to... You're not naturally that way?
No.
You had to train yourself to do it, or...
Yeah, I have to train. I have to work very, very hard to be organized. And I just know that from working all of the jobs I did. I mean, my brain just works differently.
Sure.
And again, that was, a big source of my frustration in school is that, like, I was being taught one way and when my brain wants to learn another. So I've always had to flip it. And so when it comes to the business side of things, it's like, okay, well, I know I'm just going to have to, there's a built-in expectation that I'm going to have to put in a little extra work into this. So for me, it's no big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask if that ever took away from the joy that you get out of designing and doing that stuff. Does that ever put a damper on it that, like,
oh yeah,
I mean, I have to get my taxes done.
yes,
Like, yeah.
I mean, the day I was able to, like, just give all of that away was the best day of
So
my
you've got
life.
some of that handed off now then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah.
But
and
I mean, but still having a working knowledge of how it works so that you can hand it off, so that you still have to manage it.
absolutely.
You didn't get rid of your business owner. You just kind of transferred some stuff, and now you have to manage the person that does it.
Exactly.
You kind of have to oversee it, but...
And that was a learning curve as well, because, I mean, as an artist, you're so solo all the time, right?
Yeah.
I'm in my studio by myself. I'm making it work by myself. I'm hustling by myself, all of it. And then all of a sudden, when I have a shop, I all of a sudden have to have studio assistants and shop employees and a store manager.
Yeah.
And how do I manage all of that has been a huge learning curve. I was not great at it. Even being the oldest of, 3 girls,
Sure.
I thought, like, oh, I got this. No, I did not.
That's usually when you find out you don't got it.
Yes, I do not. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about that, and then that is, to me, I think that's kind of what, I don't want to say separates you, but you have to be able to either learn that or do that side,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm sure there's thousands of super talented artists that would, deserve is the wrong word, but that could have their own shop, right?
Oh, yeah,
like their stuff
yeah.
is good enough, it's cool enough,
Yeah.
people like it.
I am by no means the most talented person out there, like, by a long shot. And just looking at my shop and all the other amazing artists that we represent there, you see that, like, but I think, again, just I know I keep bringing it back to, like, school and stuff, but I just had such a hard time. And then, like, the moment I learned that your brain is just different and you just learn differently, it's fine.
Well,
you just
now
gotta,
you're a little bit younger than me, I think, but I mean, we're same generation,
Yeah.
same age, right? And they didn't have this stuff like these CAPS programs
Right.
and all these things, these explorative programs
Right.
that you could do. Like, we had to take math and then algebra and then this, and, like, if you checked all the boxes, you got a degree and you moved on to the next thing. But it was just teaching to whatever the book said. There was no, like, the guys that had it and girls were the people that were in the trades.
Right.
Like, they had that figured out, right? They're like,
Right.
You're not really great at this part. Maybe you can do this.
Yeah.
And, those were the people in high school that you kind of like, well, they're not cutting it. Like, I feel like a lot of times they would get not looked down on, but, you maybe view them as different.
Yeah.
And then they come out of college and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
But that's what it is they're teaching to how their brain works or to their skill set and preparing them for something. And unless I'm wrong, up until recently, that didn't really exist for, like, a creative type, for an entrepreneur type, for a designer, for someone that wanted to do IT, like anything. Really.
Exactly. I mean, it was just, if you didn't do X, Y, and Z and couldn't get into this college, then sorry, and that's kind of how I felt. So I'm sorry we got off on a little bit of tangent. I can't remember even how we got here, but, like, that's
the podcast.
But that's the podcast. But that is, like, just to keep bringing it back. That's just, I knew I had to put in a little bit of extra work. Always, like, especially because the creative stuff comes really easily to me.
Sure.
So the finance, the business, even just organization, I just have to put in a little extra work.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't show up.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you can't replace hard work.
Right.
My oldest is really liking soccer and really getting good at it. And I don't know if she's good, but what I tell her all the time is you're outworking everyone. You're running faster, you're running harder, you're not giving up on stuff, and that's at the age that she's at, that's going to beat talent. Right now, does she have talent? I don't know. Can she develop it? Maybe, but I think so. Yeah. But the point is right now she's working hard, and that's why she's successful.
Right.
You strip away everything else. If you're still working hard, that's a lot of times what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Before we wrap, I want to talk about your shirt.
Oh.
Not the logo is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the logo, obviously, but how is that the inverse tie-dye? How is that born? Like, tell me about it, because it's an awesome shirt. I get compliments on it every time I wear it.
All the time, right?
Every time I wear it.
Yeah, all we have to do is put it out in front of the store and everybody comes in. It's awesome. So it was just, through the pandemic, tie-dye was really big, but I wanted to put my own spin on it. And so I just started to do a little bit of bleach work, and I'm using a bleaching agent that's like safer on fabric, so it's not just straight bleach.
Okay.
And
so kids at home, don't go buy like a gallon of bleach and dump it on your clothes. It's not going to look like that.
Yeah, it will eat through it in like 2 washes,
I don't
right?
think kids listen to this, but yeah.
Get the
adults.
Youth. So that's what I did with this, and then I take it an extra step in the studio too, where there's a more colorful version of it, where we're actually hand painting the dye back onto it. So it's like this really interesting kind of moody tie-dyed look that I really dig a lot. Yeah.
So that was born during the pandemic, just kind of okay. And is there anyone that doing, like, I'm sure someone has to be doing something similar somewhere, right?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I try not to, I don't know. I just let it, roll off my back, and, there's enough for everyone out there. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I wear that shirt, and especially if we're somewhere popping up or at an event and we have that shirt to sell, it's always I love talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, and what I love about it is sometimes if someone wants a certain size, I hold up 2 different ones because they're all different.
Right.
You know, some of the oranges and browns are different.
Right.
Like you can hold, and the black's usually black, but that
exactly. But even like the width of the stripes is a little bit different. Yeah. And I'm so glad to hear you say that, because like for me, that's like, I let people in the shop, I'm like, unfold as many of them as you want. Yeah. That's part of the process. It's so much fun.
Well, and that's the art of it, right? Like if you have the same shirt as everyone else,
exactly.
It's still cool. It can still be cool, but the fact that you have on something unique,
that there's not a single one like, and even if I tried, I couldn't make another one like exactly like the one that you have. It's
correct.
Really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Why don't you promo that one more time and tell everyone about your shop and your hours and what they can expect down there?
All right. So the Making Headlines for Your Business is going to be at the Foundry Art Centre excuse me, sorry. Should I clap?
We can leave that in. What'd you mess up? If we leave this in, the clap was to set an edit point.
Yes.
What'd you mess up?
I just messed up.
Oh, you just tripped over the words there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wednesday, September 7th.
Wednesday, yeah. So Making Headlines for Your Business is the panel discussion that I'm leading at the Foundry Art Centre Wednesday, September 7th at the Foundry Art Centre. There's going to be a bar and light appetizers.
Bar?
A bar. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lead with that.
Yeah. And then you can find me at the Foundry Art Centre most days. I'm in studios 10 and 11. If I'm not there, my studio assistant, Ray, will be there, and he's amazing, and he can answer any questions. And then I can also be found at a Cozy Shop on Main Street, and we are like catty corner from Grandma's Cookies, so we're like the best spot on Main Street.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
And down the street from Riverside Sweets as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pop in there. People a lot of times are asking where we can get local 636 gear. Unfortunately, right now, just when we pop up, but always obviously direct them to Cozy. And, they're always in good hands with you or Linda or someone.
Yeah, Mom.
Quick plug to Let's Groove Studios again. This podcast space is available. We'll put that in the show notes so you can find out how to do that. But thank you so much to Angel and Let's Groove for sponsoring this. And this is cool. I'm in love with this. What a great first episode. Thanks for joining me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I could just break in the studio. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm very excited.
You didn't have to use the Kleenexes.
We made it. We made it.